If you allow society and the world takes over, you will be hibernating 100%. You will be on TV, you'll be entertained. Your brain will not do the effort to work by itself just by being entertained. If you have a pain, if you're feeling pain, like, no, shut down this pain. You don't have to understand your pain. You don't have to understand your body. Shut it down. We learned so many ways to how to shut down our sensors and our connection with our body, minds, and obviously the energetic field can be shut down completely. Once your body and mind are not connected, you won't be able to perceive the energetic. Based on that, it's really difficult to a person that is not doing the internal work to find ease in trying to find alignment. I believe from my life experience that you need to find that consistency in the alignment aspect. I need to have the alignment daily when the world is, falling apart and you are being positive. I'm not talking here for you to be positive and blind. You are suffering big time and you're saying, oh, everything's well, life is good. I'm not saying for you to be blind to those situations, but find alignment is understanding where you're at and looking at the contrast in the way that is respectful to you, meaning I know it hurts and I know it can be frustration. I can meet frustration, but I know where is the path of least resistance here. I know how to get out. I can make better decisions for myself today. Simple example, a person that has a pattern of needing appreciation all the time. So what happens to the reactive mode of this person? Like, I'm expecting people to recognize me, or I'm expecting people to say great words to me, or I do things all the time so this person can see me. So what happened to a person that is always expecting from people and this person is not having? It triggers anxiety.
I was just going to say disappointment because of
Disappointment.
expectations are not being met. I'm thinking, I want this, I need this. When is this going to happen? And it doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. And due to frustration, this person is start to feel not worthy, nobody loves me, nobody cares about me. And it's easy to go dark in that, right? And this, believing it or not, happens a lot in the spiritual world. And people that do the work, even leaders, that happens a lot. And it's almost like an ego that it's blinding you to moving forward. If you do the work and you're willing to do the work, in this situation, for example, you simply catch yourself saying, okay, what am I doing? I'm expecting something from somebody that I have no control. And I am operating from feeling well, lying in somebody else to feel well. So right here, I can make a decision for myself. I can make a better decision for myself, which is, this has nothing to do what I feel about myself and my value and what I can be to others, or how this makes me feel as a person, as a whole, as a complete being. This will not fulfill the locks or the holes that I'm feeling here. The only one that is able to fulfill that is myself, with self-love. So right there, I can already make a decision, and you can feel the release, the energetic release between whatever resistance you were putting in that person or that responsibility in that person, right? And you can feel the energy dissolving. Trust me, you will feel it as soon as you do that. And then once you turn your attention to the other side and you release the resistance, then you're able to operate positively and really listen to yourself, really listen to your body, your mind with a lot of love, and do that connection from within, but after releasing the resistance, because that is what keeping you away of seeing things. Giving another example, it could be a conflict with a person at work. person that is getting on your feet. You know, this person is acting from greed, this person is acting from non-conscious place, and you expecting maturity from this person, you expecting, and this is getting frustration, right? Also, again, situations you cannot control, and a judgmental side of you rises, right? And all of this reactive and all of these situations, you end up digging a hole to yourself energetically, where it's harder and harder for you to get out. And that wall become, that resistance wall becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's always through releasing the resistance, understanding that you have no control of things and people and feelings from people to you, but you do have control of how you are about to feel. We got to be consistent in the alignment aspect, and you will understand throughout your journey how to find that consistency, that alignment. It gets to a point that you don't notice anymore the frustration. Contrast happened, something that you didn't desire happened, and you just look like, okay, all right, okay, I guess I'm gonna sort it out. You already know is a solution, so you don't get frustrated, but people get frustrated for you.
I have two examples that happened to me recently. And my fiance and I were out celebrating her birthday weekend on Saturday. I was driving her car, and either she has the key or I have the key. Anyways, I thought she locked the car. She thought I locked the car. We went into the bar. The car was open, and my backpack, which had a lot of like nice things in there, my wallet, my credit cards, my checkbook, about $2,000 worth of glasses, were stolen right out of the back of the car, just like that. And within 30 minutes, they were already 35 miles away, charging up a storm, you know, on my Apple Card, on my other cards. And it's when I realized I shut it down right away. But it was kind of like a test for me that night to let go of, you know, things like that that happen. And it's all replaceable. Just detach, because that's my personal bag with all of my stuff. So, you know, it would liken it to something that you carry with you everywhere, that you've had for years, and somebody took it. And, you know, if you're like me, before I would want to go, you know, that would bug me for days, you know, and so I let it go. So that was one example. The other example happened around Christmas time, and I was sitting here at my desk, wanting to help a friend of mine who actually was having problems with his phone, and he had like done something that I didn't know about that had to do with the phone being shipped to a T-Mobile store instead of shipped to our mailbox. And instead of sitting here using my brain that God gave me to really think things through, the lesson was for me to, instead of rushing off and doing what seems logical, to stop and to just let my heart guide me and my intuition guide me, instead of my brain telling me, okay, well, you have to go to the store and you have to get that and you have to try and do this because he did that. And none of that was necessary. So anyways, I'm driving down there and I rear-ended a car because I was on my phone just looking and playing some music, and it was just a very small fender bender. It wasn't nothing serious, but it was enough for me to have to pull over, deal with the insurance type thing. You know, I had to pull out the fender of my car so that I could drive it. But it was a big inconvenience, and I'm thinking, why did that happen to me? Why did that happen to me? And I feel that source was very clear and told me, like, that the reason that happened to you, because we want to give you that little big example, like getting a pinch on your arm, you know, to remind you that you don't have to do how you were always doing before in your life. You can sit down and think of a way, because the first thing I thought of was like, the last thing I want to do is go drive down this very busy street at Christmas time. But I did it for my friend. But it turns out if I would have just sat here and used my brain and used my intuition and just said, okay, what is another way around this? How can I deal with this? I could have just made a phone call and which I ended up doing because I never made it to the store, and they shipped the phone directly to my PO box, and I was able to go to the T-Mobile right around the corner and get everything set up. So it's just like minor inconvenience, but inconvenience is inconvenience. And then let all that go too.
People interact and react all the time. Nobody resists reaction and stop. Kabbalah teaches that a lot about resisting and acting from a different place, a place of love, so you can transmute your ego. So, but in reality, society is reacting and interacting all the time. It's like this dance of reactions all over, right? So, what happens when we have friends and people and family, they are not in alignment with the mindsets that we are operating, which is very challenging. I think it's the challenging about being awakened is not about how you're going to start operate, but how you will interact with the people that always be in your life, you know? And we all expect them to operate not as us because it's not such a perfection to be followed, you know what I'm saying? But of being real, with the feelings, with what you think, and then operating from a different conscious place. So, but what happened once we try to please people and we step into their field? It's when we get interfered and those things start happening in our life. Because we have the desire of helping, coping, and really sharing, we end up mixing our energetic field with theirs in order to please them. The only way that you will find alignment yourself and help others is being yourself in your standing your field, standing in your consciousness and being in your alignment. As much as you hold that space for yourself, people will tune into you and not the other way around.
I picked a card for this week, like what the theme of the week is, and it's stand your ground. I had a realization last night that there are people that have like overly strong boundaries. And then if they come near someone who may not have as strong of boundaries, it like comes into the field or the other person, right? So I was like, oh my God. And then that's how we start in the people pleasing, like on an energetic level, understanding how it works.
Correct. But that is not an easy thing to be perceived as a leader or as a light worker or as an awakened person, because we are used to operate in a way. And once we shift to higher consciousness, the new ways of operating, we're still learning. Like it's hard to transmute those robotic modes into conscious mode.
I have a thought that I could share with you guys.
Sure.
So I was at the Conscious Life Expo 2023. I mean, that's our tribe. If you hang out in a place like that, you just feel so at home. We can have these conversations and go way deeper into anything. You come back from something like that, or say you have a beautiful session of meditation in the morning and you're just feeling very connected and really full of love and compassion, and you're open, your third eye is open, and you're just kind of going at your day feeling so wonderful. And then you come into a place like this where I work. You have to engage, or you go to the gas station, or you go to the grocery store and you're with the checker, or you're at the bank. So the point I'm getting at is that we need to engage in with people that are lower level or more dense energy, and disengage. And so we're always engaging and disengaging, engaging and disengaging. And sometimes if we are too engaged, then it's a bleed over of their energy into our energy, right? What I'm starting to do now is to recognize that, and you can still be very loving and very kind to these people that we're engaging with. I mean, why not? But I think we can recognize right away with our senses that, more 3D or so like that. And if we have a time or a heart of compassion to minister to somebody like who's having a bad day and we want to talk with them, that's one thing. But if like there's a lot of group people, and I don't engage in those because frankly, the conversation that they're having doesn't really interest me, and it's not deep enough. I like a deeper conversation with people. As we are going through life, we're meeting people all the time and interacting with people. And so cutting cords and putting a shield around me is something I'm starting to do more often.
Yeah.
So if I'm not aware of it, maybe by the end of the day, I feel like more drained.
It's not that you cannot engage or disengage, or it's how you feel about the engagement that will affect your field.
Yes.
How you feel about it. So whatever you decide to engage or not, I give an example. There are things that really triggers me, and that I have like a sensation that I cannot believe what I'm seeing, right? But there are things that people even like treat me in a very bad way in the street, and I don't engage with whatever that person state or thing. I was like, well, then he's just having a bad day, or I don't try to make myself aware that I'm being good and that person bad. You know what I'm saying? And is irrelevant completely, because they're just people operating in different levels, and how I feel about it that will make any difference on my energetic field for sure. So it's never about the other, it's just about yourself.